welcome everybody to this week's Market Share, the short weekly segment brought to you by MKR, where we bring you all the noteworthy news and updates surrounding digital media and the world today. I'm your host Genevieve, and we've got some entertaining stories for you today, so let's get started. First up, let's do a little recap of some of the decent April Fool's Day posts and some of the really unnecessary ones. The one that really won our hearts is Duolingo's Love Language campaign in partnership with Peacock. They proposed a new reality TV show where several singles were brought on, none of whom spoke the same language. The two companies made it just believable enough, and it definitely paid off considering that so many people were talking about it organically. Our two honorary mentions for this April Fool's Day were Chuck E. Cheese convincing people that it would now be a wedding venue, and Tinder. All of you men that have photos of you holding a fish on your profile better watch out. And then for the fails, you would think that after years of brands getting shamed for their bad April Fool's posts, they would start to listen. But alas, Froot Loops and Fruit of the Loom partnered to create scented underwear, which are not attractive or believable in any way, which completely defeats the purpose of the holiday. And then finally, Rare Beauty supposedly launched a super jumbo size of their super popular liquid blush. But this is really not something that someone would believe, and considering what the price would be, people wouldn't want it either. Better luck next year, or maybe just don't celebrate April Fool's Day next year. Next up, and in the least surprising news ever, Instagram NFTs will be deactivated on April 11th. We heard so much about how digital collectibles were going to be the new big thing, but as it turns out, we were right. They really don't hold a lot of value. Even at the conception of digital collectibles, Meta was still trying to hold on to the tail end of the trend. And due to the lack of interest, broad disruption in crypto markets, and the economic downturn, not many people are looking to invest in JPEGs anymore. Obviously, as the metaverse continues to take shape, the use case for digital ownership will definitely become more important. But even development on the metaverse has slowed down quite a bit recently. Isn't it just wild how easily people get bored? Hopefully we won't have too many NFT investors rubbing their money in our faces once the metaverse really takes off. Third up today, a bizarre ad from Australia surrounding telephone companies' carbon footprint has really caught our eye. The spot begins with a lonely thumb trudging up a mountain, which we later find out to be Mount Everest, and continues on to finally reveal that the average Australian is estimated to scroll the height of Everest on their phone every month. Yes, this is a crazy statistic, but it really does emphasize the carbon impact of consistent phone usage like this. They then continue to explain how they offset their network emissions as Australia's first carbon-neutral telephone company. This is a great example of taking something very strange to get people's attention and then turning it into a corporate social responsibility that is impactful on consumers and impactful on the world. And just in case you are wondering, in a year's time, we scroll about 3.4 marathons. So here's your excuse not to work out for the next couple of days. Finally this week, Google is launching a new Ads Transparency Center that will share information on both the campaigns you see and the campaigns you don't see. This really reminded us of a story we did a few months ago, where you could see exactly how Google classified you when allowing advertisers to employ targeting. And now you can see exactly which one of your demographics is the reason they want your attention. The feature will be attached to all Google ads that go out and will allow you to search ads by topic, advertiser, or website, and even filter by region so you can see how hyper-targeted you are. This development totally breaks down the wall between advertisers and consumers, maybe for the better or maybe for the worst. There's no more mystery as to why you're getting an ad for that amazing bag or that new restaurant that opened up downtown. You know exactly how they got you into their pool of consumers, and who knows, you might even be offended as to how they could even believe you would be interested in that stuff. Consumers will now have the power to block whatever ads they want, even if they're not initially shown it. But on the bright side, digital marketers will be able to do a lot more sleuthing on their competitors, which is definitely an advantage. So look out over the coming weeks for yet another ad-based rabbit hole to fall into. That's all for this week's Market Share. My name's Genevieve, and I'll see you all next week. I've been kind of killing it recently, I'm not gonna lie,